Hello.
Hi.
This is Shauna Grace.
Hi.
So if you followed the page, you know what she's about, but we're going to go into her life story.
We are.
Right now, little pre-show business, as you know, sharing away. But we'll get to talking about who Shauna is very soon. So it's live somewhere.
Live, we're here. We're sharing.
Oh, sorry, Luke. Luke's here. He's been very nice. I think I kind of stepped on his tail a little.
Oh, he's fine. He's a good boy.
There's a dog named Luke, not a man with a tail.
Shared. And then I'm sharing again. This is like, we are legitimately doing pre-work. This must be so entertaining for everybody.
It's every show.
Every show.
This is the top of every show.
I love it.
Yeah.
It makes my heart happy.
It's the behind the scenes. You get some behind the scenes footage, and then you can ask us anything while learning. Okay, great. So then I'm going to pin this.
Pinning. All right, one more share, then I'll be all caught up. Here we go.
And I feel like the same thing.
To a group. Sharing out of my Ignite Your Sacred Light group.
Oh, yes. I'm a part of that group.
You are.
That's so positive. Is that something you've created, that group?
Yes, it is, and it's
Very
growing
nice.
every day.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're here. All right. So, I will let you, darling.
Yes. Let me share one, and then
She's still sharing.
I know. It's taking its time.
The backstage behind.
Yes. Behind.
The live interviews and all the glory that this amazing lady is creating.
Yeah. Together, we share with you. There's Brad. Brad's here.
Hey, Brad. So good to see you.
Bradman at Bradman TV. Aw, he reacted to it.
Aww.
I don't know what he did. Oh, he's
doing
hearts.
hearts.
Okay, cool.
And laughing.
Come
here, Luke.
Yay.
Oh, Mama, help you. One more. So while we're waiting, this is my child. This is Luke Lysander. He's a little angel, little cherub there. Perfect little boy. Mama's baby.
Yes, he's been a nice gentleman. He tried to kill me, which is good. Oh, somebody's mad.
Why are you mad, Brad? Calm down. You're fine.
Oh, there's Andrew Brewer.
Oh, hey, Andrew. So good to see you.
And Nikki Coley says, hey, hey.
Hey, girl, hey.
All right, so this is official. We're starting.
Let's jump in, girl.
We're going to learn all about Shauna Grace. So I thought this was pretty informative, your bio. It tells a lot.
Thank you.
So we're going to kind of go over it a little bit, and then we're going to go through your whole, like, this is who you are now. We're going to go back to childhood, and then we're going to end up back present day.
That sounds, we're going on a journey.
Time traveling all through the eyes of Shauna Grace.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Brad says something about this causes a wide range of emotions. Yeah, I can understand. I think Terry's here. I know I can't quite see her comment because of the light. Are you able to see the comments as they come up?
Let's see. Terry says hello.
Hey, girl. Awesome. So what do you want to chat about?
Yeah. So let's see. Here's some things. We have Shauna Grace, top psychic medium, medical intuitive, and empath specialist.
Yes.
Those are all very interesting. And you're gonna explain more.
Totally.
Some of them are buzzwords that most people know, and some of them aren't.
It's
I
true.
think. So you want to touch that one?
Yeah, we can kind of jump in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yes, I've been blessed to be considered one of the world's top-rated psychic mediums, angel communicators as well. It's a fun little category.
Yeah.
As well as medical intuitive, and I specialize in working with empaths and heart-centered, soul-driven entrepreneurs. Basically, anyone who's wanting to develop and really hone their intuition to not only walk and live as their authentic self, but especially for business owners or people who want to build a business for themselves. I really help entrepreneurs live their life purpose from a place of integrity that is in service and coming from their highest good. To sound super woo-woo about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. It's been a long journey to get here.
And we'll find out the whole journey.
The whole journey.
And so you've read for a lot of people, stars.
Yes.
NFL players, the whole Dodgers team.
The Dodgers. Yeah, I don't know all the names of who and who because I don't really follow. I'm so sorry, Dodgers fans. I'm not a very good sports fan. This was about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So whenever that would have been in the seasons, it was pretty fun. And what was really cool, just because I don't follow baseball, I don't really follow too many sports. I do support the Seahawks because I am a Seattleite originally. But whenever I did a reading for one of them, I didn't know who they were or their backstory, so they were kind of shocked that certain things that came up that I knew. So that was pretty fun. Quite the experience.
Very cool. We know a little bit about how you got into this based on your bio, but I think we can talk about that once we get into your life story.
Yeah, totally. We can speed through the bio as well.
Yeah. So you write books as well.
I am writing a book currently. I've contributed to several books.
Okay, and some of the contributions: Your Pets in the Afterlife.
Yes.
How the Best Psychic Mediums and Light Workers in the World Connect with God, Angels in the Afterlife, Volume 3.
By Maximilian de Lafayette.
Yes.
Shout out to him.
What are some of the topics that you covered in those?
Oh, well, in Pets in the Afterlife, I wrote a chapter on my personal view and my experience as a medium connecting with pets in the afterlife. So it consisted of, kind of an interview style, different questions that they had posed. Everything from, what happens when pets pass, can we connect with them, what are some of the stories I had, they really are, they have their own amazing souls and their own amazing journeys, so often, just every day I have clients who come to me and they're like, hey, can you connect with my dog who passed on, or can you connect with an animal, and that love is always there, so they're always, connected, and so you can communicate with them. They're amazing, and so I definitely talked about that, and how I believe in that book as well. I did share how someone can connect with their pet if they've passed on, not just through a medium but through themselves, because they do come and visit. They do give us signs. So often when a pet passes, a lot of times people will talk about almost hearing their collar still ringing, or their little nails across the kitchen floor. Well, you're hearing them. That's their way of saying, hey, I'm here, I love you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is very cool. And then also, variety of radio programs.
Yeah.
You've done Cosmic Contract with Pam, I'm going to miss the last name.
Pam Drennan.
Cosmic
Contact.
Okay. The Rock and Roll Psychic Radio Show.
That would be Andrew Brewer. He's the rock and roll psychic.
That's very cool. Now, is this specific to deceased rock and rollers?
No. Well, Andrew, a little shout out to him if he's still watching. Back in the day, I guess he used to read a lot of the rock stars.
Oh, very cool.
So he kind of got the
rock and roll. That makes sense.
Psychic.
Yes, because I'm confusing psychic with medium. Right?
Well,
yeah, well.
Yeah,
I'll have to break it down and correct me.
We can totally break it down.
And then a co-host on the Deliberate Creation radio show, and you're featured on CU at USC.
Yeah, I did a segment for them, and also which is really cool. I was so honored by Times Square Press. They have a monthly magazine, American Psychic and Medium, and anyway, I have I think it's a 3-page interview in the January edition, so you can check that out on Amazon, and it's also available on Kindle. But yeah, that was really cool. I was very honored to have been selected for an interview.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're available to be contacted online, so we'll talk about that now, and also we'll give that information out, and there'll be links. So where can we find you?
You can connect with me either here on Facebook, on my business page, Shauna Grace. You're welcome to personally send me a direct message, or just check out my website at shaunagrace.com. There's you can put in a message, book a session. If you have any questions, again, you can directly connect with me. That's probably the best way, but I'm open, and it's kind of nice and convenient. Just if you want to book a session, to do it right there online.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the modern way.
And it is.
It's all internet now.
It is.
So now we're going to talk about what brought you here, what makes you this person that we just kind of barely scratched the surface on some of the things that you've done. So we'll start at the literal very beginning. Well, I guess...
A very good place to start.
Yes. Where were you born? What town?
I was actually born in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, very good. Now, we've met before, and I know this fact about... I didn't know when you were born there. But I'm from Oklahoma.
Hey!
So a lot of people watching this are from Oklahoma.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, next time you go to a Quick Trip, think of me.
Yes.
Give them my love.
Yes.
I miss a Quick Trip. I can't even tell you.
Yeah, that's true. It is one of the best.
It's the mecca of all that is holy in gas stations.
Yes.
And I hope Quick Trip hears this because it is true.
Yeah, if you need a spokesmodel, she's your girl.
I miss Quick Trips. I mean, I spent summers when I was doing dance, hardcore dance workouts and workshops, Point, and I used to go to June Runyon School of Ballet during the summer when I would visit my dad in Oklahoma. And during lunch, we'd all run across the street to Quick Trip in our little leotards and tights. And, granted, back then we were buying those giant big gulps and who knows, the taquitos. Like, not really good for you, but delicious.
Yeah, good for your soul.
Yes. Yes.
So, Tulsa, Oklahoma, that's where you were born. How long did you live there?
So, my parents divorced when I was 2. I ended up being a custody back and forth kid. So, during the summer and every other Christmas, I was with my father, who I was very close with in Tulsa. And then during the school year and every other Christmas, I was with my mom in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, that's a pretty big gap.
Yeah, so I kind of had this dual
life.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's pretty neat. I mean, not very many people get to. That's like really different cultures.
Portland
huge. To Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And once I became a teenager, I let's just say I had certain elements that come from the Northwest, and then yet whenever I'd go back to school, I'd come in with a slight, Southern drawl.
Were people confused?
Sometimes. But it was really fun. And my dad was a medical doctor. I don't know if I mentioned that there. No. So I kind of, when growing up there, when I was with him, I would be, often go to the clinics with him or the hospitals and run around the halls. And yeah, it was a good time.
What are some other things that you did in Oklahoma? You sounded like you danced. That was where your summers were, or that's where school was? Summer was in Oklahoma. So did you fish?
My dad did take me to fish a couple times, which was wonderful. We actually would go to Branson, Missouri, and I know there's some people commenting. I can't quite see him.
Oh, someone says I love you.
Oh, that's my cousin.
Oh,
Nicole Christina. She is actually. I'm just going to do a shout out for her.
Yes.
She is one of the most breathtaking, most wonderful singers I've ever heard. She on iTunes? If she's not, she should be. So if there is anything coming out, Miss Nicole,
drop a link
down. But she's amazing mom and just a beautiful voice and always been so inspiring to me. So I love you too, Miss Nicole.
Thanks for tuning
cousin
in.
Love always.
Cousin love. Yeah, like for me growing up, it was all about like cousins and big extended family. Is that similar for you?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So my parents, were divorced. I have half siblings, so I technically have 3 half sisters, and I was in contact with 1 half brother. It's weird saying half, but siblings.
Yes,
but they were all much older than me. So unfortunately, I didn't get to meet one of my sisters until my father's funeral. He passed away when I was 19, and they always were more like aunts, but I was still, it was really wonderful to have that connection. And then on my mom's side, I'm an only child. Technically, here comes the complicated part.
Okay.
Technically, since it's a life story.
Yes. Get us into the lifetime drama.
Technically an only child, but my mom remarried, and I have a younger stepbrother.
Oh, nice.
So, if you look at it all as a whole, I am technically an eldest, youngest, and only.
That's
all
very
in
fascinating.
One.
That's
Yes.
actually pretty cool.
Isn't it fun? I think
that's like your identity is so broad because you've got so many experiences, like with your parents being in different locations, with your siblings being of different ages and different levels of blood connection and like actual distance and distance in age. So that like gives you a lot of different experiences in your life.
Yeah. It's been quite the journey. And then, you know, my stepdad has a really large family. So with that, I have amazing cousins.
Nice.
And, you know, some aunts and uncles and so forth. So, definitely have experienced the wide range of possibilities when it comes to familial units.
The range.
Yes. The positive and the not so positive.
As we all have.
Yes, exactly.
So what were some of the things that you enjoyed as a young child, thinking back, like pre-elementary school to elementary school age? Like, any sort of games or hobbies that you liked?
When I was a kid? When I was little?
Yeah.
Well, ever since I can remember, I knew I was meant to be an actor.
Okay.
It was just like, I've done this before, and I'm going to do this. And so it was just this knowing. So I would always, you know, dance, and, you know, there's pictures of me in little ballerina outfits, and went to, you know, acting classes and everything, you know, and all the typical, you know, preschool age types of, you know, improv.
Yes. Very advanced level.
Yeah, very. But it was so much fun, and I always just wanted to, I remember just kind of like running with the fairies and having that kind of, that was my solitude, which I really enjoyed. And being an empath and being a psychic child, which was the other part of it. And I just want to say, because yes, I wanted to be an actress, I was be in entertainment, but there was always this knowing that it was for a bigger purpose.
Okay.
Like, I wanted to be able to help people or help humanity in some way, even though at that age I didn't really have the capacity to, you know, have full context of what that would look like.
Sure.
You know, because I wasn't fully developed. And that went right along with the whole psychic kid thing, where I'm seeing, you know, I saw spirits at a very young age. I would feel people's pain, including adults, and I just have to say, as a 4 or 5-year-old, feeling people's, especially adults' emotions, especially if they were unpleasant or gross, to put it mildly.
Wow.
Was really overwhelming. And so I really, I had to eventually get to a place where I felt I needed to shut it down. So I would just shut it all down completely. And the way I did that was by being self-deprecating. You know, I was bullied terribly in elementary school.
And why? Because of the ability? Because of the sensitivity?
Well, I kept it very, I kept it very, hey Megan, so good to see you, I love you. At the time I was acting, and I was doing kind of like some kid modeling, and I was very outspoken about, I want to do this, and I was just different. I had a little bit of a gap in my teeth, and my hair was wild, and kids just didn't quite get me, so...
Were you telling anyone about the things that you saw, or the feelings that you felt, or did you just keep that to yourself at that time?
I did try to tell some people at school, I remember, and I think I told my dad, and I remember my mom a couple times. I think I remember her telling her I had things in my room. And during that time, too, there was, when I was around 5, there was just some things happening in the house that I definitely brought in negative energies. And so when there's a lot of dysfunction, as someone who works with energy or as a psychic medium, when you have a home where maybe there's a lot of fighting, or if there's abuse, anger, things like that, that is basically, it's like, think of it as food for whether it's entities, shadow people, thought forms, whatever vernacular or category you want to choose. So that was really hard for me because, as you can imagine.
So whenever that is in a house, typically that's a good place for dark energy, demons,
it can. It doesn't mean that always is the case, of course, but I've certainly seen a difference. I've seen the difference between like a house that's more or less normal, right? And we all have our of course there's always going to be arguing. There's things that happen, like it's life. Yeah. But if there is a lot of dysfunction, a lot of heavy energy, particularly like I've seen when I've done paranormal investigations or clearings, and I've gone into a place where there's a lot of heavy drug use, the amount of heavy, just dense energy is so palpable, and it's always really important to clear that. So as a kid, just as I would see like sometimes fairies or angel energy, I also saw really dark things, and that is what made me feel so not okay in my own skin, which a lot of sensitive children go through.
Can you describe, I mean, obviously it might be a little bit hard, but is there like some sort of language that you could describe what seeing a fairy or seeing a dark energy was like at that time?
Yeah, so when I was little, I remember just kind of being outside, and I remember actually finding, that's like one of the few times I've actually found a 4-leaf clover. I was feeling really, really sad, and I just like remember seeing these like little lights, like it looked like little orbs, and I just was like, I'm gonna find a 4-leaf clover and be with the fairies, because you know you're like a kid. You're like, I was, you know, as an only child, because this was when I was with my mom, and so I went and I was just looking. I'm like, I'm gonna find one, and I found one, and like that is so hard to like. I look and look now, and I'm just like, come on, fairies, help the lady out.
I need a 4-leaf.
I really would love to find another one. I wish I still wish I had kept it, but with things that aren't so pleasant, like I believe this was I don't know if this was a shadow person at that time for me. I'm just gonna say I'm pretty sure it was. That's a particular kind of category.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm hesitant to talk about shadow people in particular, because it's kind of a buzzword right now in certain shows that want to dramatize situations or hauntings that are actually acting like they're more than they really are.
Okay.
So it is really important to be very specific in that, especially as someone who does that work, being really specific in what you're sharing, what you're picking up, really understanding the differences. But I remember this one time as a kid, here, you know, there's fighting and things going on, and I was in my bed, and I could feel it was like this most evil, scary, literally this shadow was sitting like on this chair that I had near me, and I remember seeing it, and he was like moving, and I just felt so scared and violated, and it was, you know, I was frightened, and at the time I didn't know it was okay to run down and say, "Mommy, Mommy." I think I did that a couple times, but there were some nights I just had to like pray. I would like pray and just put the covers over my head, thinking that would fix it.
Did it?
No, it made me feel. Eventually, I would sometimes fall asleep, but other times I would be up a lot later, I think, than I realized.
Well, what is a shadow person though?
So there's a lot of different discussions on it. Some consider them, try to go into the celestial, you know, conversation. Basically, it's a specific type of entity. They do tend to prey on usually children or pubescent children. So like teenagers. I've seen a slightly higher percentage of them going for women, females. But men are also can be affected. They usually have a connection to closets, as well as I think elderly as well. So it's basically groups that are vulnerable. Some people say you can't get rid of them. Some people say you can. I think you can.
Okay.
But it really has to do with the person whose home it is being empowered and really taking it back. It's not like you have to sell your house. You have to take back and fully empower you and your space and declare it's no longer allowed to be there. And also, when these things happen, what are they meant to teach you? I was actually talking with a particular client today and having this conversation. It's coming up, so I guess I meant to share. I know Megan's saying some things that are awesome, but I can't see it. But I'll let you. But Megan, yes, there's pain and fear. Absolutely. Pain and fear. It's a type of food, really.
Yeah.
They feed off of it because we are energetic beings. You are energy.
Yeah.
You know, and
in this flesh suit.
Yeah.
Like that we carry around for however many years we get to be here.
It's true. So, I can't remember what I was saying. Shadow people.
Maybe you can take them.
There it is. Looking at what is it that certain things are meant to teach you. It's not saying like you've caused this, because that's not the case necessarily at all. But with anything, and with any lesson, what am I meant to learn? Yeah. What is this situation teaching me? A lot of the times when you're dealing with dark entities and things of that nature, it's not just, yes, you can get rid of it. You don't need it. It's very simple in how you clear things, because your free will trumps, because this is your realm as a human versus like these beings that want to affect you. But so that's number one, is letting go of some of the fear, because fear is, again, part of their food. But also, when they're showing up, where are you letting your power go? You know, where are you? Because if you're putting out the pain, you're putting out the fear. What is out of balance in your life that you need to address? That is a teaching. You learn that. Take that. Even say have gratitude for that experience and learning that, and then you will be in a whole new, in a completely new space, and being able to clear things and not deal with that. Once I was much older, and we can get into. I can feel where we're going with this conversation. But there was a moment in my life where I finally had to claim my power, because what was going on and what I was doing was not working. And after I finally made that step, there was this amazing ripple effect where I never had to deal with these repetitive patterns of, you know, being taken advantage of sexually, you know, things of that nature. All of that changed. Why? Because I took back my power.
Wow.
And I said no more. It's the same thing with the spirit world. There is an amazing connection. So, not to go on a tangent, you guys, but I definitely wanted to share that with you.
That's an awesome, and I'm definitely of the same mind of like you life always hits you over the head with things until you learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn. So the quicker you can get through that.
And it's a journey. You know, we're all going to have our moments. You're going to have setbacks. No one is perfect. You know, it's a matter of like trying to do the best that you can that day.
Yes, absolutely.
And being willing to grow.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's all you can. I mean, that's what you can hope for, as like growth every day. That's a good day. So you mentioned right away knowing you wanted to be an actress. Was there anyone, like something you saw on television?
Marilyn Monroe. I was this little 5-year-old watching Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Like, and she was I'm like, yes, I just always felt this kindredness with her. As a spirit, and just like, I love her, and she's so beautiful, and I think also part of me wanted to be beautiful, you know, so I'm sure there's also that connection there, and I just related to a lot to her sensitivity and vulnerability, and I can't tell you how many Halloweens I was Marilyn, and different incarnations. I would do Norma Jean, I would do the blonde, I would do this and that, and, you know, as I got older, it morphed into Madonna and then Gaga, but that's a side note.
You mentioned, I kind of briefly skimmed over, I wanted to be beautiful, and you mentioned kind of being picked on. So, as a child, you didn't feel like you were a beautiful girl.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. And I'm going to show you this. I'm feeling called. So, this was me, you guys. This was my dad's. He had this on his dresser, and so that is a picture of me during this
you're so cute.
I'm going to show you guys. Wait.
Oh, you can see our lighting.
There's Shauna.
Aww.
When I was probably the saddest I had ever been. Yeah.
How old were you there?
That was 3rd grade. And you can see I had a gap in my teeth.
See, I love that.
I played flag football with the boys. And
see, I don't think your hair looks crazy though. Is it just
because I cut it?
Day?
Yeah. Well, I cut it into a bob, thinking because I wanted to be like all the pretty little blonde girls that had really, you know, straight, thin hair, so they would just stay in place.
Yeah.
But I didn't recognize that I have thick.
Wavy. Oh, yeah.
Like, thick ass wavy hair, and so it went ching. And so people just were mean to me even more. But I was called like werewolf and you know, freaking burger and loser. You know.
Freaking burger?
Oh yeah, they used to put.
Is that anywhere in your name?
My real name. I go by Shauna Grace, but I have a very long German last name. And they would these kids would actually put lead in my water bottles.
Oh my gosh.
And think it was funny, so when I'd go to drink my water, I would like have lead go in my mouth.
Oh.
And just to sum up, like one of the worst ones, I remember I was in 4th grade and I was playing tetherball, which was one of the most normal things that I did, you know, because everything else was like dancing and acting and like, you know, what did you do?
Like football.
You know, jazz hands. And I was playing tetherball, and this girl accidentally, it knocked me in the nose, and my nose bled a little bit. And she actually wasn't that mean to me. But as I found out as I was walking into class, the entire class created a little, like, card for her with a picture of me drawn of my face getting hit by the ball. And it said, "Great job, Sarah." And then everyone in the class signed it. And when she walked in, everybody clapped for her because she made my nose bleed.
Jeez.
And that's why when I said I love children with all my heart, they are wonderful and innocent and precious, but don't tell me that they're perfect, because they can be mean little demons as well, and just cruel. And that's what they were. And I would walk to school alone, or walk to the Boys and Girls Club alone, so I wouldn't have to walk with everybody else. So I would just go and get ice cream myself and things like that.
So
self-entertaining.
How did you, like, where was your safe space? Where was did you have a friend or confidant or anyone that, that you felt safe with? Or
at that time, honestly, I don't think I really had one.
Yeah.
And that was, like, that's actually painful to say, but, I didn't. My dreams and my, the angels, feeling that, and my dad, my dad was safe for me, and my mom, I know she loved me so much, and she does love me. We're very, very close. We went through a lot together, but at that time, I didn't know, I just felt very alone, because it was easier to feel alone because no one else could really understand me, and I just felt totally lost. So what that did is, I would read and watch movies about girls overcoming adversity, and my favorite was Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. And I would dream of the day where I would be able to be like, "Look at me now," I invented Post-its. Or my real goal, I got to hang out with Oprah. You did not stop me. It was that fire of, I'll show you. But at the same time, people think that kids don't feel like they want to end their lives at that age, but they really do. I mean, I thought, what could I do to I don't know if I really want to be here. And I didn't want to leave, but I didn't want to feel this pain because it was just so horrifying and,
very isolating. Very isolating.
But it changed when my mom remarried, and so I left that school district for middle school, and then it was much better. So it kind of changed. It was just, that was all elementary school, which is...
So, elementary school was rough as hell.
Awful. It was, probably the worst time in my life.
And so, I think this is what is there to learn and what is there to teach.
Yeah.
This is a great situation. Obviously, you made it out of elementary school.
I survived. Yeah, it's horrible. They're just mean. Oh, and I got migraines. So then I was the kid who was getting these migraines as a kid. Oh, good Lord. So all that happened. This is a life story segment, so we're talking about it.
Yes.
Full disclosure.
Yes, let it out. And I think it's important because, sometimes everyone has an awkward place, but they have at least a friend or something, or maybe a dance class or something that's like, there's a person that you can at least be like, "Oh, this is hard."
Yeah.
And cry too. Like me and my friend cried in the back of our van together.
Oh, yeah. Well, there were some amazing female adults that really helped me feel safe. The Jeannie, her name was Jeannie. She actually taught me how to read palms when I was 8.
Oh, that's cool.
She's in Oklahoma. Oh. She was my daycare provider. She and I were just very, very close. She felt safe. I knew my daddy was wonderful and safe. My mom was too, but she also, she was going through a lot too. And, and I think because of just for her and I, our similarities and our journeys, together we've been able to create and find so much more healing together.
Your mother?
My mother and I, yeah, which has been wonderful, and I'm just so grateful to have her in my life and to be the mom I have.
That's awesome.
Which is really, really, I'm really honored and I almost want to
cry about that.
I
saw pictures of you guys recently. Wasn't she visiting?
Yeah, she came to visit for my birthday.
You guys are so cute.
Thank you. She is so intuitive and quite the powerhouse herself.
Oh, no, your mother's psychic as well?
Yeah.
Oh.
She is.
But does she practice or?
She's not professional, no.
Okay.
She's extremely intuitive.
Oh,
and,
very cool.
Yeah, it's been amazing. She's amazing. But what was I going to say? Marilyn Monroe was someone where I felt safe. All of her movies. There was, a couple teachers, just adult female figures really helped me. When I got to high school, I ended up going to a art school, the Vancouver School of Arts and Academics, which is kind of a magnet school, and I had amazing teachers there that helped me feel good, feel safe, and be who I am to the best of my ability. And I'm forever grateful for them.
That's awesome. With the change happening in junior high, what was that like to feel accepted?
Oh, it took a minute, y'all, because I remember showing up, and I'm like, okay, just pray, please don't let me be teased again. I remember just begging and trying to think of everything I could to be cool, and it was...
Were there style things that you tried?
Oh, everything. But my mom wouldn't let me wear makeup, and then I, till 8th grade. But so 7th grade, I did get caught a couple times wearing mascara, but it was because everyone else did.
Yeah,
Mom?
yeah.
Gosh, I can't. Please don't make me be the outcast. But I remember the first day in choir class. It was on the first day of middle school, and I'm wanting to be cool. I'm like, please don't mess this up, Shauna. I just want to have a friend.
Yeah.
And I go in, and everyone has to do an introduction, and I go up, and I'm like, hi, I'm really excited, wanting to be cool. I'm Shauna, and...
Well, did you have a first date look, though? I gotta hear.
I don't even know. I just was, trying to be cool.
You just felt a bit confident.
I was trying to be confident. Nice. And I'm like, I'm Shauna, and I had this, maybe an upward inflection, because I was really excited, and I have a high voice. And so then everyone goes, Valley girl, and I'm like... I almost started shaking and crying. In fact, I did shake, and I almost started crying because I thought, "Oh my God, it's gonna happen all over again."
Oh my God!
But luckily, I was able to meander and just make friends, and so I became the girl, and this was in high school too. I became the girl that was friends with everybody.
Yeah.
I wanted to just be friends with everybody. I wanted to be in the popular group, but I never felt I really was, so I just was nice to everybody because I'm nice.
Yeah,
I'm nice. I think it's important to be nice.
Niceness matters. Kindness matters.
I know there's so many comments, but I know I can't see them. But I'm going to totally, respond later, so keep commenting, please.
Do you want me to lip this up, or do you want to kind of keep an eye on it? Or?
Yeah, I'd love to, because I know people are here, and I love to be able to respond to what they're sharing. Go ahead.
So there you are. You're in junior high in a new school district in Oregon.
Okay. My mom remarried at that time, so we were actually in Vancouver, Washington. Not BC, not DC, Washington State. Vancouver
is a very popular name for a town.
I don't know, maybe. It's named after some guy. Probably, but
some famous dude.
It was always that thing though. People from Vancouver, or some people call it the Couve. People are like, "Oh, where you're from?" Vancouver. And you're like, "Oh, BC." And you're like, "No, Washington." "Oh, DC." "No, Washington State." "Oh, what?" But so that's why most people just say Portland, because it makes it so much easier.
It makes it easier.
It's just right across the water.
What's the town like there?
It is a normal town across the water from Portland. You can go across the bridge to Portland and be sales tax free.
Oh,
which is always nice.
You gotta love that.
Oh yes. Yeah, I mean it's a nice town. I don't really. Oh, I feel so terrible about saying great things about it. Sorry, guys. It's interesting. I'm grateful for my art school. That's what I'm grateful for. I don't know, how, anyone from Vancouver want to describe it? Moderately conservative, not liberal as Portland. Most people move to Vancouver to be more conservative. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
It's not as diverse,
okay.
I would say. I think that's maybe changed now, but there is, back then there wasn't as much diversity as, at least where I was. So.
All right. How many people were in your class?
It was an art school, so you did kind of have to do semi-audition and be selected.
This is junior high. Sorry.
I transferred into it was grade 6 through 12, but I came in the middle of 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. I'm seeing.
This I think this is it.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Something move on the right corner. I don't know what I'm seeing. Nadia, you might be seeing some orbs. Talking about fairies and magic.
Yeah. Hopefully the positive.
Yes.
No shadow.
Yeah, no.
No.
This I make.
You clear it. You own this apartment.
I'm like, not in my home, y'all.
Not in my house. This is my house.
Lot of clearing.
Okay.
And bringing in love and light.
Yes, gotta keep it.
Sounds super woo-woo. All right, let's see who else is. Let's see, Nicole.
Who was your first best friend?
My first best friend. That's a deep question. My very first. Oh, you know what? I can tell you that her name was Ariel.
Oh.
And yeah. She's no longer with us, but we met in preschool, and we were so bad. She was this little bright red hair, and I was like, at the time I had like red, but it was really blonde, so I was really like a super bleach blonde looking kid, and she was this redheaded wild child. And we would do this. We would like run and like play this game. It sounds so gross, so I apologize, you guys. But we would like run, spit on the mirror, scream, laugh, and run back. Her mom would be so mad at us. And then one time, this was she was smart. Like, I love her so much. She oh my God, why did I call her? Oh no, I'm sorry. I used to call her Ariel. Her name was Laura. Her name was Laura. That was a
she has
total.
the red hair.
Yes, that was a total switch in my mind. I literally called her Ariel. Wow, that was a moment. No, Laura. Laura was awesome. And then so this is a fun story, you guys. And I don't tell your children this because they might do this. But you remember those? It was Halloween time in preschool, and like Laura was a little bit of a biter, not on me, but she would like bite other kids.
Of a biter.
She had some biting issues, and I'm like, and I was just her friend. Be like, look, I try to negotiate with kids.
I will make Laura bite you.
No, I talked about all the bullying, but like Laura was a biter. She had to work on that. But anyway, after nap time, earlier that day, we made those little, those popcorn, those little, basically you take like a plastic glove and you put those little pumpkin pieces at the ends like fingernails, and you stuff it with popcorn and you make a little hand. Do you guys remember that? Well, that was like a little assignment we did.
Cool.
So everyone had these in their cubbies, and I wake up from my nap because they make us take naps, which I never wanted to do. And I'm like, girl, what's up? Laura, like, what's going on? And she was like, popped a candy in her mouth. I was like, oh, she goes, shh, because she took it from her cubby, and I'm like, she's like, come on. And so Laura and I secretly went through every single child's cubby, eating all of the little pumpkin candies. Not the little candy corns, the big, good tasting candies that were the fingernails, and left nothing but popcorn. Every single kid's thing.
That's so funny.
It was so mean. And so then we like were high, like as if we had taken a crack on sugar. And we are running through the elementary school or the preschool area and going ha 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 ha, like with candy in our mouth. And obviously we eventually get caught.
Okay.
And then I get taken to the head ladies, the head of the preschool. She's like this big, 80s hair thing going on. And, she and I are still like whacked out on, crack candy. And then she's like, do you know what happens when you eat all the children's food? All the
children's food. What happened?
She took ours and like threw them in the trash. And I said, well, that's okay. We already ate the candy part out of it anyway. No one really wants the popcorn. Her mouth just like dropped. Like, I mean, but it was true. Like I understand what your point, man, but like we're good. Anyway, she was my very first best friend, and I love her. So,
oh, what a fun story!
This is why I love candy. It's her fault.
You're a rebel without a cause, but the punishment really didn't fit the crime. To be honest, like it was kind of like you said, it's like no big deal.
I really didn't get in trouble.
I got what I wanted.
I think Laura did get kicked out of that preschool. I think this is true. Her mom told me. I didn't remember this. Yeah, she eventually got kicked out of Progressive or whatever it was called, because of the biting. Which is true. Like, you really can't bite kids.
Yeah,
like, it's so bad.
You shouldn't bite.
Like, and there's just so many bacterial issues that we all are well aware of.
So Laura didn't go to elementary with you?
No, this was actually in Idaho. We skipped that part.
Oh, Idaho.
Yeah, my mom, after my parents' divorce, they divorced technically. They moved to Idaho Falls. So I was there till about 4.5, 5. And then my dad went back to Oklahoma. And then my mom and I went to Portland. Because thing about my dad, though, I was very lucky because for most of my childhood, I had him as an amazing, sober, wonderful father. But he did struggle a lot with with alcoholism and prescription drug abuse. But after they divorced, he got clean. So I just always knew my wonderful daddy. But when I was a teenager, he ended up getting spinal stenosis, which is extremely painful, which he was so much pain he had to take, what do you expect, an opioid, and that just opened everything up to the addiction. And even after he had surgery, it just kept, he couldn't quite get it going. So when I was about 16, that's when everything changed.
Oh, yeah, my Mama Lucas is on. She's from Tulsa, Mama.
What if we go live? If we mute this, but can we go live and see the comments? Does that work?
Yeah, my Mama Lucas is on.
Oh, I did. I totally did it.
You did it.
I'm being so smart now.
So now she's looking at comments to see what we've missed so we can say hello on the comments and kind of give a little response to things where our light is blocking.
But they're not
live? I think that's it.
Oh,
you know why? Because I think I scroll differently.
Oh, she scrolls differently. Oh, that's cool. So anyway,
I like to
we
pull
keep
down.
chatting as we go through these.
Yes. So you went to Idaho for preschool?
Yeah.
And then
Portland.
Oh yes, Portland. I keep getting confused. Portland's where you went to school. I know. You've lived so many lives in this life. So Portland was where you went to school.
Yeah.
And that's elementary school. And then summer's in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yep.
And then junior high.
Regular old middle school. And then art school.
And then art school. So we were at, I'm Shauna! And everyone's like, terrifies you.
And then everyone screams Valley Girl. Yeah.
Yes.
It calmed down. I became a cheerleader and dance team, did that.
Nice. You made friends?
Made friends.
Who were some of your junior high friends?
I was friends with this girl named Felicia, Nicole. One of my good friends was Louise. Her parents were Irish. It was the best house to spend the night at. Oh my goodness. Like, you always have that one friend where you're like, oh, I wish I could just, like, stay at their house every night because it's, like, just magical how their parents are. And I remember it always smelled really good in her house.
What was the friend name again? Sorry.
Her name was Louise.
Louise,
she was cool. And we would eat, like, her parents in the morning would make these amazing waffles and... Oh, it was the best.
Oh my gosh.
But after I went to the art school, I kind of lost touch with all of them.
Oh, shoot.
But I made new friends.
Did you have any crushes in this junior high time?
Yeah, there was this guy named Lewis, but then he broke my heart because he cheated on me because we were dating. Day before Valentine's Day, he broke up with me for an older woman who was in 8th grade.
Lewis, you scoundrel, you're being called out. Shame.
It's okay. May he be blessed. But my little 7th grade heart was a little shattered.
Oh my gosh.
We all go through it.
My heartbreak was in 7th grade too. We'll talk about that later after your interview. But
sounds good.
It crushes, right? I mean,
it does. At
least for me, that was probably the most I ever really was surprised by a breakup.
Oh yeah, and then there was this other guy, Kyle. This was when I was at the art school. He went to a different school, and he was super cute. But then of course he broke up with me and just stopped talking to me and was dating his ex-girlfriend, who was again an older woman.
So they go from you to someone older.
I know, and I'm like, you're just rude. This is why I have no time. And then I just I didn't really date, honestly. I just was everyone was. It sounds horrible, but I just would get really bored. And also, I'm sure there's a little bit of fearful of being a heart, but just some of the potential. At least where I was at there, I just wanted to be friends. I didn't really want to, and I just knew I just didn't want to go there, And I'm just. You know what it was? It was just I don't want to waste my time with something that's not going to work. Yeah. That's what it was, really.
Yeah.
Well, and I was very focused on career, just college and da-da-da.
Oh, really? So what was your goal for college?
I wanted to go to just a private arts college. Goal was to major in theater. So I I applied to Juilliard, NYU, CalArts, and then Cornish College of the Arts, and then my backup was University of Washington, because I was like, well, I can just still go there, and they're all wonderful schools, but I mean, you can tell I was like, I gotta get out of here.
I gotta get out of this place.
I want to go. Yeah,
this is the last thing I ever do.
Exactly. So that's what I did, and I actually ended up going to Cornish College of the Arts, which is a BFA.
Cool. Sounds cool.
Conservatory style program, wonderful, fantastic program. And again, it's like only one of, I don't know if it's changed since I graduated, but it was at the time only one of the 5 BFA conservatory. So usually it's a BA, these are BFAs.
Oh,
so
fine arts.
So it's like us, CalArts, Juilliard, and University of the Arts. That's like what I was told. And so I loved it.
Yeah.
It was very overwhelming, and I had a lot of my personal demons come up. That's when I really went through my lows.
What were some? Can we talk about
Sure.
any of that? So, what were some of the things in college that awoken some of the demons, or some of the things that you had to deal with?
Totally. So my dad was dying. He was in the middle of his addiction, and then he ended up having to go into hospice because he had. I'm getting all sorts of love.
Yes, Shireen. This is Shireen. She's in Canada.
Hey, Shireen.
She's actually. I was telling you about her when we very first met.
Oh,
she's
wonderful.
Kind of exploring the psychic medium.
Wonderful.
And
very
she's
cool.
very gifted. And I keep telling her about you because I know that you help people
develop. Girl, let's connect. Totally.
Yes.
I'd be honored. And I know I see my other cousin, Marion, here. Hey, Nora. Hey, Mom.
Thanks for the love.
Lots of love. So basically what happened in college was I was, loving all of that goodness. But my dad ended up getting lung cancer, which he didn't really, he always tried not to tell me, even though I knew it was the truth, because I think he didn't want to hurt me, but I knew. Also like psychic. I don't know.
And you're also a medical psychic. Now,
medical intuitive, yeah.
Medical intuitive. Were you? There was a time you weren't you were stifling.
Oh yeah, the way I would stifle it when you are a sensitive child or a sensitive person, and you especially empaths. Mm-hmm. Very often they go inward, and self-deprecation, self-hate is way easier to deal with.
Really?
Than actually listening to your intuition and learning how to release and let go so you can move forward.
So what is it if you're an empath? Sorry, we're on a tangent.
No.
You're an empath and you're in the world feeling people's feelings, basically.
Oh yeah.
What if you never learn to stop it, or can't? I mean, do you eventually have to learn to at least put a barrier?
Ideally, you find ways of coping, which is why I think if you are an empath, if you are sensitive, whether it's through books, whether it's through working with someone such as myself or other amazing practitioners, someone who you can trust and who feels right for you, finding your way of honing. It's not about blocking, because your empathic gifts, everyone's intuitive. Truly, it's a matter of how does it come through for you. Yeah. If you're an empath, it's like being a sensitive on steroids, so you also are absorbing a lot. But if you can find ways of grounding, releasing that which is not yours, and being able to, with specificity, recognize what is yours and what is not, you will have so much more clarity and freedom in being able to live your life and move forward with more grace and ease. That people who want to build businesses, that's why that is an important bit. If you're wanting to shift a part of your life, your intuition is there. That's what I encourage in all of my clients.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Nadia apparently has been learning a lot from you.
Oh, what? Oh, thank you. Yes, she is amazing. So much love
she's
to
giving
her.
her fan for life. Aw, Nadia, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for...
stay in touch. Send me a friend request, or follow me on the business page, or anyone interested in any of the stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
I have my own Facebook group. It's public. It's called Ignite Your Sacred Light. Ignite Your Sacred Light. There it is.
Yes. And that's a great group.
Isn't it fun? We'll put some links afterwards for you guys. But just a cool way to connect and also connect with other amazing empaths and light workers and all of that jazz. But
you're very, sorry I cut you off.
No, you're good.
You're very easy to connect with. I met you once before, and I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, we could probably talk forever.
Oh, I know.
Because you have so much.
Oh,
so much information.
I like to talk. Talker.
And you like to talk. You had suppressed it for so long. And I'm glad that you're ready to talk now.
You're so sweet. Oh.
So whenever your father was like trying to hide this from you, were you?
I knew it was. Yeah, I knew he was sick, and I'm like, Daddy, just tell me. Like, I know it, but and he was also very empathic. Like, truly,
wow.
He was one of the most remarkable doctors. True, like people, even when he was in hospice and in a home, like people would still call him Doc, and I had friends who would say, your dad is more like a dad to me than my dad. Like he had the best bedside manner. He also, by the way, I recently found out was there's one of the only, or I don't know if there's, hopefully there's more now, but it was like the only homeless clinic.
Wow.
And my dad was one of the founders
wow.
who apparently started this homeless clinic to be able to see low-income people in Oklahoma.
Holy smokes. It
was like, and I didn't know that he was like a part of that, but that's what one of my sisters actually told me this. And you know, he taught me how to love and have compassion, you know, and I know I have his heart, and he gave me that,
yeah,
you know, but he also had his demons, you know. One of the ways I dealt with that, I keep mentioning that self-deprecation, you guys,
yeah,
in trying not to feel the emotions and the sensitivities, was I dealt with severe disordered eating for 6-7 years, all like teenage years into college. Because that was how I could stuff down the pain and just my emotions and then everyone else's.
Wow.
It wasn't fun, y'all.
So obviously that's not fun. What's the lesson you learned and how did you overcome that?
Well, so this is what happened. Thank you for asking that. So my dad passed away my sophomore year of college, which was just devastating. It was like that moment when you lose a parent, especially when you're really close to that parent. It's like, even though you're not really alone, you have this newfound sense of, now I'm alone.
Yeah.
Like, I only have, and I was so grateful to have my mom, but, you know, I only had one, you know, biological dad. He was
sure.
my daddy.
Yes, of course.
And then I ended up, you know, starting to, I think, rebel and not really trying to just find ways of not feeling as much. And so I was still just into disordered eating, you know, not eating too much. You know, I definitely also had bouts with bulimia, and coming out, and full transparency.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting into the wrong crowd. Not even the wrong crowd. I trusted the wrong people.
Yeah.
There was these older gentlemen who I thought would be like mentors. I mean, of course, I lost my dad. I'm looking for a father figure. And anyway, one thing led to another, and I went through some very traumatizing assaults and situations. And of course, I can see my own accountability in that, you know, and recognizing my part of that. But where it ended was not anywhere that I ever thought my life would be. And luckily, around that time, I had these amazing spiritual mentors fall into my life, who helped me recognize what I was feeling, what I was hearing. I also had literally like a knight on a white horse save me.
A literal?
Yeah, I would say.
Now I have to know what that means.
A man that a wonderful man who I actually was with for 8 years and who's one of my very best friends. He actually ended up helping me wake up.
Really?
Yeah, and recognizing that I am not listening to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you need to have a jolt and a come to Jesus moment to recognize that something needs to change. And let me see here.
You have a lot of love coming. A lot of people, we get to see what you're saying.
Guys.
And thank you guys.
How do I scroll? I can't. I don't understand.
I pull down.
Oh, okay.
And it makes it go down.
Oh my gosh, is this going towards the recent?
This is going towards the old, and now that's the most new.
Oh, there it is. Yes, and there he is. He's there. Yeah, and I made it, and through basically a lot of conscious healing, I had to be willing to work through my shadow. I had to recognize and learn, you guys. A lot of us, I think, can relate to this, or maybe are even going in it, where learning how to listen to your intuition, learning how to say, okay, what I'm doing isn't working. How can I start to shift this? You know, and so I did that slowly, but one step at a time. Starting to feel, how can I trust myself? What does it mean to trust myself? And the biggest thing, and this is something that I'm supposed to say, I'm feeling this. So this is for, I don't know, for one or more of you guys watching, or who might be seeing this later. But when you first start to shift a habit or a deeply ingrained situation, for example, hating yourself, self-deprecation, thinking you're not good enough, all of that might be, pick a category.
Yeah.
But especially, let's take the self-deprecation, hating yourself, and you're learning to maybe start to learn how to love yourself by listening to your intuition, and so you're taking steps. At first, it's going to feel extremely uncomfortable. It's not going to feel good necessarily. It's going to be like, oh, this feels so weird. Why? Because this neural pathway in your brain has been created for however many years it's been, where you've hated on yourself and always said you suck, or you're the loser, you're worthless.
Yeah.
And when you start to shift that, you're having to create a new neural pathway. So it takes a minute. And so by knowing that, you can breathe and be like, okay, I know this is uncomfortable. I feel my own resistance, but I'm going to trust enough in whether it's God, universe, angels, powers that be, your highest self, pick your vernacular. You have support, and eventually it does get easier.
Yeah.
But that turning point is so hard. And being there, it's like, it was some of the hardest things I truly have ever gone through in my life. And that's when I had also the most profound spiritual awakenings, what felt like almost near-death experiences. And it helped me realize, again, same thing that came up from when I was little. I wanted to be an actress, but I wanted to help people. I wanted to serve. I wanted to bring light into this world.
Yeah.
You know, in whatever way that's meant to be, you know. And so that's what I started doing. So I came out of the spiritual closet, started saying, hey, I'm psychic. I am a medium. I see dead people.
Yeah.
I speak to angels. And I started doing readings for friends, which led to doing readings for college professors, which ended up doing girls' nights, which eventually led me to be on in front of Microsoft and teaching workshops for divisions at Microsoft. So doing corporate things, bringing intuitive work, bringing that spirituality into those types of settings. And it just kept growing, and I just kept trusting. I was like, okay, God, lead the way, show me what I'm meant to be doing. And I'm still creative, and I'm still yes, I still am an actor, and I still have that side of me. But this is also what I do, and I feel like more and more we're in a space now where, what I share and what messages that other people have to share. Now is the time for them to be heard.
Absolutely.
And then, that things just kept growing. And eventually, again, I started teaching classes. I got honored by those top ratings through the sort of, Times Square Press. You can find me on Yelp now, and I'm very grateful to have a 5-star rating, which is a lot of pressure that I'm trying to maintain.
Yes.
Which my goal is,
keep it. Yes.
Keep it in. Yeah. So I mean, and my point in saying that, you guys, is when you get on your path and you feel that, and you're like, okay, I'm trusting, I'm going, the things will line up for you.
Yeah.
You have to give yourself permission to trust.
And how scary was that when you first started it? When you first
it was I was petrified. I felt I felt literally like that little 4 or 5-year-old girl who was so scared to be persecuted.
Yeah.
Oh my God, after years of bullying and also probably some past life things, you guys. Like,
Yeah.
I was scared. Coming out of the spiritual closet, it's a moment.
What is like one of your first coming out of the spiritual closet moments? Like, what first ownerships, first like, okay, I'm gonna say that I am this, or that I'm gonna practice in this way. Like, what was some
I
of those?
think it was in college. I think it was oh, I know what it was. This wasn't the very first, but this was like a prominent one because I did start reading poems at like parties in college.
Okay.
That was like, oh, I read poems. Do you want a poem reading?
And did you have the boyfriend at this time?
No.
Okay.
So this was right before kind of this transition period, and I remember senior acting class at Cornish. I have an amazing teacher who I'm still very, very, very close with, Patty. Let's do my first names. What happened? I keep hearing a cricket. Oh, yeah, I have crickets, you guys. They're cool like that. Oh, I'm hearing the sound stopped. Is the sound still going?
Oh, I don't know. Can you hear us?
Nicole said yes.
Everyone
can hear us? Awesome. Oh, wait, there's a lag. Okay, anyway. Well, hopefully you guys can hear us. Yeah. So I actually she did this assignment in senior acting. She was like one of the first or second classes. And she was like, awesome. Thanks, Nadia. 2 people go up and do something. Like, just do something. And, create a scene. Like, just nothing, but just, like, do something. Like, literally, which can be intimidating.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so me and my friend Jessie went up, and so it's sort of improv, and I said, Jessie, do you want to learn how to see auras? And she was like, sure. And so I picked a girl in the audience who was a classmate, and I just kind of described to her how to open up and see. And so on stage, I taught someone who never knew how to read auras in her life, learn how to see auras.
And how did you know this stuff?
I just saw them, and I just described it, like helping people see. And so that's the thing, like, everyone has it, you guys. Like, you do too. How does it come through? And that's where the training can come in. Are you an empath? Are you claircognizant? Are you clairvoyant? Audient? Do you have other abilities, etc. Like, there's so many amazing mixes.
Yeah.
And so that was probably a big coming out, because then I became like, yeah, did you see Shauna? She like taught Jessie how to see auras. and that's what everyone wanted readings.
Yeah.
Which was really fun, and it was good. It was nice to be able to practice.
What are some of those messages that you got at the time that you talked about that 6-year relationship that really changed your mental pathways?
Yeah.
I've heard it called like a river, right? And that you're changing the flow of the river. And there's always, when you're going into a new place, there's all that mud. So you have to push through.
Oh, I love that. You guys taking this in? This is good.
When you started to change from self-deprecating, from not listening, you mentioned there was someone very specific who gave you some wake up.
Yeah.
And do you have anything like, oh, this was said to me, and it, like an aha moment as Oprah would call it?
I have a couple. One of the quotes that helped me wake up, or be able to have the courage to heal. It was from a teacher. One of the quotes was, and I might be a little off, and I'm going to do my best. The most beautiful flowers grow out of pig shit. But they bloom, grow, and become the most magnificent flowers.
I love that.
And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. That was from Kira McDonald.
That's awesome.
I don't know if she'll ever see this, but shout out to her. She shared that with me. Also, and I even still have that written on a piece of paper somewhere, and I would always like tape it someplace wherever I lived. It was actually in her handwriting, because I was like, wow, that helped me. Another quote was, this is actually one of the, I share a lot with my people, and I definitely encourage all of you to try this out and see how it supports you. But when you honor your boundaries, you teach others how to do the same. When you honor your boundaries, you teach others how to do the same. Because for me, I didn't understand boundaries. I didn't understand I was allowed to have boundaries. I didn't understand that I was allowed to say no. I didn't want to hurt people, because as an empath, you feel people's pain. So when you try to say no, you feel how they take it, and then you feel bad. So I always thought, well, other people's opinions, other people's, feelings are more important than mine.
Yeah.
And so obviously that adds to that whole, like, not loving yourself thing. Not fun. But yeah, so remind yourself, when you honor your boundaries, you teach other people how to do the same. So if you're needing to tell someone lovingly and assertively no, you're not only telling them no, you're giving them a gift.
Yeah.
You are giving them a gift of understanding and learning how to honor their boundaries, because you are an example of honoring yours.
That's actually awesome.
Right?
And like, just to even, like, bring it into, like, a corporate perspective.
Totally.
Of, like, people going home at a decent hour. If you're upper management and you go home at a decent hour, you're showing someone else, like, oh, you know what? That's okay. It's okay to do that. So it's a great way to, that's great advice.
Thank you. You guys feel free to share this video, please. I know both of us were totally down with this, or if you think someone could benefit from some of the pieces in this video, please, welcome to share it on their timeline or whatever you feel comfortable with. And feel free to share these quotes too, because
they're
you
good.
Can say, Shauna Grace on the boundaries.
Exactly.
Or whatever you want, but you get my point. I'm always like, caring is sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. Especially on social media.
Yeah, totally.
That's the only way that we know that you liked it.
Yeah. And also, the man I mentioned, who is still one of my very best friends. I don't really have a quote, but one of the things he helped me learn was you have to be willing to look at your own accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever and that's really painful, but also being able to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Because self-forgiveness, sometimes we think we've forgiven, but there's so many layers and in that, and it is a process. It's like an onion. You gotta go through the layers.
Yeah.
And so that was a big one for me.
Self-forgiveness.
Yeah, because forgiveness was the opposite of what I knew, which is self-loathing, self-hate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thinking I'm never enough.
Yeah.
To forgive myself.
How could you?
Yeah.
Why did you?
Yeah. And letting and being able to let go of some of the trauma, and that took a lot of years. And this is why also in my work now I help people see the underlying root cause in what's holding them back, because we all have these roots. And trauma, there's a lot of different discussions, but when you read some of the in certain books such as Trauma and Recovery, and some other scientific kind of things they've conducted related to trauma, there's actually I believe it's 20% is held in the brain, but the rest is actually held in the physical biological system. In the muscles. And there's a lot of different perspectives on that, but that's what science is kind of interestingly showing more and more. So it's not about living in trauma and using that to always be an excuse by any means.
No.
But
knowing it exists.
Yeah.
And can you clear some of that?
Absolutely, but you having the awareness,
yeah.
And there's different forms for everything from somatic experience work to just consciously doing some people really the man I was mentioning, he's been really amazing at seeing it for what it was, but not letting it define you.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important thing. But also, I think for me, recognizing and understanding how it is living in your system, and allowing yourself to do the forgiveness work and the releasing and really getting clear where the underlying root is. Because if you find the underlying root, you can recognize the voice, you can recognize the reaction you're having to whatever circumstance is showing up, even if it's a circumstance completely different from that root source or that original situation. That way you can have more choice in recognizing, oh, that's an old program. You know what? I hear you, but I don't need you anymore. You are not, these programs are, it's part of the whole, it's a long conversation, but it's the whole survival side.
Yeah.
And so recognizing that with love, it's trying to protect you, but it's not really serving you. So lovingly, I like to either say, old program, delete, or I'll like throw it out the window and imagine it just being exploded into light and transformed.
Wow.
So then I can say, this is where I'm stepping from. What part am I empowering by making this choice? Because that's the woman I want to empower.
Yeah.
My highest self.
Yeah.
You know, not that old voice from someone who told me that I was worthless.
Right.
You know, F that.
Goodbye to that. Goodbye to you, old voice.
Peace. Peace out.
So, you had to face.
Thanks, Kevin. I saw that.
You had to face a really, really, really challenging time with the loss of your father from this earth.
Yeah.
But it opened up a different part of yourself, or a part that you had hidden and buried. I know that you started talking about the path and things that just like exploded open as you started to be like, okay, this is who I am, and live fearlessly. And
thank you. And Nadia, of course, reach out, girl. And I'm glad you're practicing. I just saw her. I wanted to say goodbye to her.
Yes.
I look forward to it.
Thanks for joining, Nadia. What happened beyond that? Like after Microsoft, as things started like opening, what's happened since then?
What's happened since then?
Yes.
I started teaching intuitive development, psychic development programs. Someone's giving us laughs.
Shireen.
Is that Shireen? Hey, girl, hey. I moved to Los Angeles. So here I am. I travel. I speak on other people's stages. I speak on psychic development. I speak on the anatomy, if you will, of an empath. I still conduct private one-on-one sessions.
Yes.
I will be moving into more online courses, so for group courses as well as one-on-one. Here in LA, I do haunted Hollywood paranormal investigations.
Wow.
So on the other program platform, Live Me, I was utilizing that, and you'll probably be seeing some more footage, probably on YouTube coming up shortly. But I recently conducted a huge paranormal investigation on the Queen Mary, which was so much fun and super haunted, by the way.
Really?
Oh my gosh, legit. That's a whole other show, y'all. But it was pretty awesome. And so I've gone to like the Roosevelt Hotel, Griffith Park, lots of different places that are really haunted here. And what's really important to me about paranormal investigations is it's not, and you see this unfortunately on TV sometimes, where they are like, almost feels like they're poking fun or trying to like provoke spirits, which I think is absolute crap. So instead, what I do is we do the investigation, but we also, if there is a spirit, we help them heal and cross.
Oh, wow.
So it's not about provoking. Actually, because it's a spirit, it's a soul. If it's an earthbound, it's a soul. It was once a person, and they're often stuck in a cycle. So you have to be able to show them that they can go home. That's what I call it, going home into the light, you know?
Yeah.
And so, and it doesn't take a bunch of dramatic things. It really can be simple and clear. And, it's pretty amazing. And so that's something I do.
Yes, considering that you have this gift, and I know that you think that most people have it, but you can really access it.
Thank you.
I imagine that would have to change the way that you see death, or that I know that it's still a loss, but you can still access in a way.
I would agree. Yeah, it's I'm very grateful to do what I do, and it's been really helpful for me. You know, I can still talk to my daddy all the time. You can too, by the way. It's not just special people, quote unquote. Everybody has the ability. It does change it. You know, I've had loved ones die this past year, and it hurts, and it's pain. You know, it's sad, and it's hard.
Yeah.
Of course, like I still have my human emotions around death. Very much so. But what I do know is that it doesn't end there, and that love and that connection is unbreakable, and you will always be connected. so that is something and that's, as a medium, working with clients who are going through grief, helping them heal that grief by recognizing that, yes, their loved ones are with them. They are loved. They can connect. All of that.
Some, like, with that, kind of like, if you don't mind to, like, kind of go into it a little bit, like, about someone who is stuck, if someone has crossed over, how you can communicate with them, if you can communicate with them.
Oh, yeah. We're going
cross into the light, or
Kristen, she's just going deep, you guys. Hope you're getting
shoot.
Oh, no, she'll find it. We're still here.
I dropped the comments, but they're back.
Awesome. That's true, Kevin. You probably, I talk to my dad a lot, don't get me wrong, but yes. Yes, my dad also visits my very bestest friend, Kevin, so he does. That's very true. To answer your question, yeah, so you're asking, so just to clarify, the differences between?
Yes.
And how to connect?
Yes, so that's
okay.
it.
So the difference between. So in my view, loved ones or energy or souls that have crossover or go into the light, they're whole and complete, so they feel very different than, say, an earthbound. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why when you connect, when there's a ghost, aka a ghost or earthbound spirit, that means specifically someone who was once human but has not crossed. There are energies that are non-human form, which generally we call entities. But if we're just talking about the soul-based spirits, a soul earthbound, it's earthbound for a reason. Couple things. Sometimes a lot of times I found they did not cross, either out of fear. So I have had to do some healing work with a couple earthbounds I've run into who are just really afraid of judgment. Like I remember the most profound was this man who committed suicide. Wow. And was haunting this old like, I can't remember what it used to be. It was like a brewery or some bakery or something in this really old part of Seattle. But he had shot himself, and so he was doing a lot of poltergeist activity and been there a long time.
Oh, like moving stuff.
Yeah, he would shake ladders when people were on them. Really just temper tantrum, not nice things. And I walked in because I was going to do an event there, so I wanted to have the energy be good. And they mentioned they had a spirit, and so I ended up talking with him, and he kept repeating, "I don't want to burn. I don't want to burn." Oh. And he showed me I felt very clearly his suicide. So he was staying in this fear, frustration of afraid, so scared of going home. So somehow he stayed and did not go. But during that time, we did a really beautiful release and I helped facilitate with Archangel Michael, who I work a lot with, and the Legion of Light, which is his peeps, and lovingly helped him cross. And he was able to go home and be healed. But I had to have a conversation. No, you're not gonna burn. You're gonna go home and be healed. It's okay. It's safe for you to go. And then what was so really awesome is that I cleared the rest of the residual energy from the space. And then I didn't. One lady knew I did this, but she didn't tell anybody else who worked there. Okay. The next day they all came in, and no one knew what happened when I did this. They all were like, "Wow, it feels really good in here. It feels so different." They could feel it. Because it was clear, he was relieved. So, and I just want to say, it's not like me, in the fact of oh, Shauna's so special that she did that. No, I just held space, and yes, I do my work, and I am good at my work, but it isn't me taking this on it's I'm the one. It's really, I always see it as a beautiful collaboration. Because for me, I work a lot. I work with the angels. That's who I connect with, and I love them so much. And they're able to handle those situations in the most perfect and divine way. So what we can do is hold space,
absolutely,
for those who really is part of their work, and helping those energies cross.
And you have to take ownership of the calling of it.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's something that you have known your whole life. It's one of those. You get to see all the little road maps, all the things that were pointing you towards where you are now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And Kevin mentioned he knew this place, the Stables. It was a small event center. That's what it was currently. Before, it used to be an old time saloon,
and that's the space.
And that's where the guy did that. And so there are other car, so you can see, like, and he, that was probably the most physical, because I had literally felt the glow. I mean, it was a whole experience, you guys.
Wow.
Other times, with earthbounds, they're stuck in a cycle. Think of it like, if you watch a pattern, or you watch, like, a circle, and it's like, there's, like, a kink. And so they keep repeating.
Kind of like if you go YouTube, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like ding, ding. And it's like, that's why often sometimes you'll see like the same movement, or people will talk about the same, I'm sorry, I don't know, that light went out.
It's okay.
The same movement, like, wow, the gray lady, she just keeps walking one way and down this one aisle over and over and over. And people say the same routine. Often too with that, it's, they're literally, it's like they're stuck in a memory, they're stuck in a moment. And they need help in realizing that they're not there anymore. Often there's a lot of emotional, very like deep emotional, either pain or residue, something that makes that imprint. Now there are distinctions though, you guys, between earthbounds and then just residual energy. Because residual energy can have that same feeling. And residual energy is like, imagine if I put black, like dust or something, and I wiped my hands all around the room, or around a specific area with a particular emotion. So that's why if there was a house or a room that had a lot of heavy, intense emotion, a very, even like sometimes even violence, you can feel it. When you walk in, it just feels like, ooh, something's off or creepy. That would be the residual you're feeling. You can also clear that. But with earthbounds, helping, the thing, it's not just about sending them on their way. If they want to cross, or even if they're resistance to it, helping them realize that they can, and then that's not stuck. Then there are earthbounds that just absolutely do not want to cross, and if they are not harming your space, well, I personally don't like them in someone's personal space, but I'm talking like public places. You see that more in public places than in personal spaces, unless they've come in which case you can deal with that. You can force it, but it's not always sometimes it's not necessarily your place.
Okay. Who, like, what do you mean? Who's place?
For example, when I was on the Queen Mary, there were definitely spirits that wanted to cross, because there was a lot of very heavy, dark energy that was also holding soul energy, people and spirits there. Also, when you throw in the fact that although it's a wonderful ship, they also have ghost tours, and so you have things that also, add to that energy. Some spirits absolutely wanted to cross. Other spirits were more than happy to stay.
It was like they were putting on a show?
They just didn't want, they're like, no, I'm good here. Like, there was this one trumpet player that we showed up when we did this circle, when we did this, because we brought a bunch of, like, Instagram and Live Me influencers. So that's who I was helping to guide along. Yeah. And I brought my good friend Patty Negri as well, who's an amazing psychic medium.
Nice.
And like there was this one guy, he's like, no, I'm totally good. Like, he didn't want to go. He was happy. There was a little girl that didn't want to go, but she was being held by a very dark shadow. Like a legitimate shadow person.
Oh my.
There were also some other dark entities. There were also spirits that were just stuck. I mean, it was a hodgepodge. And that's the thing. You think about it, right? It's a ship. It's sitting on water. It's surrounded by rocks, because they have like a rock formation. So it's inside a circle on water. It's a metal ship. A lot of emotional energy there. Hello, holding a lot.
Yeah.
A lot going on there.
A lot. Now, with this girl that was held, she didn't want to go, or she couldn't go?
The little girl? Yeah, so this little girl, oh my gosh, there's so many stories of her. We even caught her on camera, and you could hear her crying. She was so sweet. She was just a little doll. She drowned on one of the trips when the Queen Mary was still, doing its, ship thing, going from England to New York or whatever. This little girl, she drowned in the pool, in the first class pool. And she had been there, I guess, and there's been many, many, many sightings of her. You can even just like Google some of the stories, but she was really sweet. But there was just this really just nasty little, and it's super dark in there too, like one of the more not so pleasant entities I've come across. But we actually, well, this is not going too far. We did help her cross and go. Thank
good.
goodness. Yeah.
Good.
But,
I was like, oh no.
I have to be careful how much I say.
Oh, it's
just
not
because of.
Okay.
But there's things that will be
revealed.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good.
There's some projects coming up ahead, you guys.
Yay!
So stay tuned.
Make sure to follow you so that you know where everything's
follow me.
at.
Yeah. I'm on Instagram as well under the Shauna Grace. If you're more of an Insta person, or here on Facebook.
Yeah. So.
We're going so. Look how long we're on.
I know. Are you okay? Do you need to go?
No, I'm good. I know, but I know we can keep going.
All right. We'll cut it short. We'll cut it off soon.
Okay. Go.
But I told you I have so many questions.
She does. That's great. I'm down.
Like the movie Ghost, right? Like immediately it's like death, and then you go to the light, death, and then you go to the dark. Is there ever like death and then immediate crossing over, or is it?
Yeah. Oh, so often. Yeah. I mean, we have so much assistance in helping us cross over.
Raven Air's going
to walk Sparky. Oh, love you, Raven. Thank you so much for being here. Sending you so much love. Give Sparky a kiss. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, very often. I recently was. I wasn't there right when she passed, but I was there the day before a person I know's mother passed, and the amount of light and just love surrounding her. Very often, our loved ones are, even if they're not loved ones, if you're just like, a person.
Yeah.
You have support in going into the light. You have that support. Archangel Azrael is part of his assignment, and his work is helping you in the process of crossing. And angels are non-denominational, you guys. Like, it doesn't matter if you're religious, if you're not religious. We all have angels. It is just one way of categorizing at that specific type of energy and group. If you want to use other names for that, you can, but because this is what I do, so I'm using my vernacular of angels. Yeah. I wanted to say that.
I think that's cool, too, because
my little boy wants a hug.
People can get confused, like, what are you trying? Oh, it's religion, or it's kind of just kind of going back to the energy of that's undeniable.
Yeah.
That we are. He's here. Yes.
He's
Look at him relaxing.
My little man.
So what brought you out to Los Angeles?
Oh, just career. I mean, not only, of course, if I want to be an actor.
Yes.
Right? Or not even one. I am an actor, but this is where this was my whole life. I wanted to live in LA.
Yeah.
Like ever since I was 5, when I knew I wanted to be an actress, that was that. I'm like, I'm gonna move to Los Angeles, and my goal is to create art, create things that help make the world a better place, and all of that. So there was just the timing was right. Things opened up. I was ready. I was healed enough to come here.
Yeah.
Because originally I was planning on moving, when I was in right out of college, but I was not ready. Like I still had a lot of healing to do. And anyway, I just sometimes you get a not now, and you have to listen to. It's not a no, but it's a not now. And so I got some not nows. Had some other things I needed to do in Seattle, and then eventually there were some professional opportunities that popped up as well, which led me here. And so now it's I do the acting work, do that fun stuff, create. I have a solo show I'm wanting to produce that incorporates both the acting side as well as the psychic side. So
that's cool.
When I find just the right theater for it, we'll see.
Ooh.
We'll see. You might be seeing some announcements.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, it's something that hasn't been done, so I'm really excited about it. I'm just trusting, and I love it here. It's hard. It's transition, like, whew. A lot of, and especially as an empath, talk about dense energy. But, I really love it here, and it's beautiful, and I love warm weather. And the sun.
Yes, I'm with you there. So you're here, you live in Los Angeles. We can be looking for that show hopefully soon. You teach people how to harness these gifts.
Yeah.
You also do readings.
Mm-hmm.
You can do readings online?
Oh yeah, I do most of my readings now. I do remote. So FaceTime, Skype, phone, or even Facebook Messenger, video chat. That's always options. And you can see me in person. I do have a higher rate if you do want to see me in person. just because of how my time works, but
Yes.
that is totally fine. And if you remote's great. And I also do, events. I recently, this is fun, I worked at a 14-year-old's birthday party.
Oh.
And I did a whole thing on, like, psychic development for these amazing 14-year-olds.
Wow.
And it was so beautiful because they actually lost a friend who was hit by a bus.
Oh my god.
It was so sad. And so they were able to connect with her and get a lot of healing as a group. And
wow.
it was just so profound. I love working with kids.
Yeah.
Maybe because I like...
Because you know.
I
oh
love
my
children.
Gosh. Yeah. And you also know the pain of being a child with these gifts and these feelings.
Yeah. And I just love letting my own inner child come out and play.
Yes. Oh my gosh. How awesome.
Thank you.
Well, cool. I will share links to your information so people can find you, connect with you.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in and
Thank
learning the
you.
life story of Shauna Grace. What makes her her.
Look, did you see it?
I've been seeing that.
That, where someone's saying, hey.
Yes.
It's purple, isn't it?
Yes. I see it on ours, but not... Oh, there it is. Oh, it's coming up later.
Oh, yeah, because that's live. Do you guys see that?
So tell us what that is.
It's purple. I think there's someone saying hi. We'll see what happens. I know.
Yeah,
Probably one of my little angels.
It's coming.
It's kind of fairy energy.
It's been coming in and out.
Yeah. And purple is it's one of my personal colors, and it connects with also Archangel Michael.
Oh, nice.
Purple connects with intuition, so we're doing a lot of intuitive talk, so I think we have a little... also, there's some connections with this one with Divine Feminine. I'm going to also throw that out.
Oh, see, someone else says it was green in the lower corner before.
Nice.
Isn't it white now?
Yeah, it keeps, like, moving, and there's nothing, like...
Yeah, because I don't
changing,
know if before I kept looking over to be like, what is that?
Veil is thinning, y'all. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's very
right?
cool.
Next thing you know, this is going to be, like, cut, and it's going to go viral. Be like, these people were talking about...
Kiss the pure energy.
Oh, I love it.
Have pure energy.
It was a reflection. Yeah, it's like it keeps changing. Is it? Let's see. Yeah, it's like not... Oh, is it moving?
Well, it does. It moves.
But you weren't moving. But you weren't moving.
It's not there now.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely. There's nothing to reflect on.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys.
So. Yeah, this would be like.
Yeah, because that's where the reflection. That's well, that makes me happy.
Yeah, someone's been tuning in with you guys.
You are all. That's so cool. Well, we thank you so much.
Yes.
So much love to you guys. Thank you for joining.
Yes, and thank you for.
And that's closed. It's closed, so it's not even like the comments. It's totally not that. And even if it is a reflection from something,
I wonder if it's Marilyn Monroe.
Well, I don't know if it's. That would be awesome. I don't think it's Marilyn today, but. Sending Marilyn some love wherever you are, girl. She's doing great, by the way. I'll tell you some stories after.
I'm getting behind the scenes information from Shauna Grace. Guys, thanks so much, and please tune in.
Oh wait, look, you move closer. Now, where is this coming from? Okay, we're just gonna go because this is gonna become a game, and we're gonna
trying to figure it out. Talk to them.
Either way, I love it.
Yes.
Sometimes we're just getting this sign from somewhere
saying this is good. We're on the right path, I think.
Yeah.
And you guys are on the right path for tuning in. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
Chat soon.
Chat soon.